Hi Gandhi class, welcome to your second maths lesson this week. And in today's session, we are going to be looking at finding a quarter. So our learning objective for today's lesson is, can I find a quarter? In today's lesson, we will be recapping our learning from year 2 so that we are able to find quarters of shapes, objects and quantities, and to explore the relationship between a half and a quarter using concrete, pictorial and abstract resources. But before we begin, please get yourself a whiteboard and whiteboard pen or a piece of paper and a pencil and answer these 4 questions below. Pause the video here to do that and press play when you're ready to go through the answers. Okay, so question 1. For this question, you needed to complete this by using less than, more than, or equal to. So you needed to find out how much was on each side. So here we've got 100 square, which means this is worth 100. Let me get my pen so I can write that down. So this one here is worth 100. And then here we needed to count up the 10 sticks to see what this was worth. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. We know that 100 is more than 90. So then you are going to be putting the more than sign in here. The next question says 640 is equal to how many hundreds and how many tens? You needed to put in 6 hundreds and 4 tens. Give yourself a tick if you got that correct. The next question says write 987 in words. So it needed to look like this, 987. Give yourself a tick if you got that correct. And number 4 says you needed to write the time in words. And the time that is being shown here is 1:45. Remember, the shorthand is the hour hand and the longhand is the minute hand. Give yourself a tick if you got that correct. Okay, so here we need to share these sweets equally between 4 people. So what we're going to do first is count how many sweets we have. So count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we have got 20 sweets all together. Now what we need to do is share them equally between 4. So we're going to share these in the 4 parts in our bar model. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, now what we need to do is fill in the missing blanks. So the sweets are split into how many equal parts? How many equal parts has our sweets been split into? Pause the video to have a think. Well done if you said 4. It's been split into 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. Each part is worth a what? Pause the video to have a think. Well done. Each part is worth a quarter. And this can also be written as 1/4, like that. So a quarter of 20 is 5. Okay, let's work these out together. So the first one is, what's a half of 12? So half of 12. So we need to share 12 equally between 2 groups. So pause the video to share 12 equally between 2 groups. Okay, let's do this together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So each group has 6. So half of 12 is 6. Now what I want you to do is just have a look at this bar model here, because we're going to find a quarter of 12 now. So have a look at the bar model and have a think about what you notice about it. So pause the video to have a think. Well done. It's split into 4 parts this time. And if we have a look at this bar model here, we can see that this bit is the same as a half. So now let's try and work out what a quarter of 12 is. So we need to share 12 equally between 4 groups this time. Let's do that together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we can see that each part is worth 3. Okay, so having a look at what a half of 12 is, and then looking at what a quarter of 12 is, which is 3, what do you notice? Pause the video to have a think. Well done. So a quarter of 12 is half of what half of 12 is. So to find a quarter, all you need to do is halve and then halve again. So half of 12 is 6. Half 6, it gives you 3, which is a quarter of 12. So when you find a quarter of an amount, you halve, then halve again. Let's have a look at the next one. So here we've got 16 as our whole. We need to find half of 16. So pause the video to have a go at finding what a half of 16 is. Okay, let's go and check the answers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So a half of 16 is 8. Now let's use our knowledge of finding a quarter is to halve and halve again. What do you think a quarter of 16 could be? So if we halve and halve again, what would a quarter of 16 be? Pause the video to have a think. Well done. It would be 4. Half of 16 is 8 and half of 8 is 4. But let's double check just to make sure that we're correct. So we need to share 16 into 4 groups. So we would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So a quarter of 16 is 4. And remember, to find a quarter, we halve and halve again. Okay, let's have a go at finding half of 20. What is half of 20? Pause the video to work it out. Well done, half of 20 is 10. Okay, using our knowledge of knowing that to find a quarter, we halve and halve again, what would a quarter of 20 be? Pause the video to work it out. Well done if you said 5. So half of 20 is 10, half again to find the quarter, and it would be 5. Well done. Okay, let's have a look at this. So the mathstronaut says, I have 1/4 because I have 4 marbles. Do you agree with the mathstronaut? Explain why. So pause the video. I want you to have a look at how many marbles the mathstronaut has. Does he have a quarter? Yes or no, and why? Pause the video to have a think. Well done if you said he is incorrect. The mathstronaut is incorrect. And look, we've used our special word because we are explaining here. The mathstronaut is incorrect because 1/4 means 4 equal groups, not just 4. 1/4 of the marbles that we have here would be 5. Okay, now it's your turn. Choose between activity 1, activity 2, and activity 3. And then you can challenge yourself further with the challenge questions. So, activity number 1. Let me get my highlighter out. You need to find 1/4 of the strawberries below. So you need to share them into 4 equal groups. And B, find 1/4 of the pineapples. And then C says the bar of chocolate has 12 pieces. Find 1/4 of the bar. Pause here if you are completing activity number 1. Okay, activity number 2, you need to draw the bar models and complete the number sentences. So you've got 16 here, and then you've got it in half, and now you need to work out what it is in quarters and then complete the number sentences down here. And then you've got to do the same again, but for 24. Pause the video here if you are completing activity number 2. Okay, and activity number 3, is the mathstronaut correct? Explain your answer. So we've got A, B, and C. Mathstronaut A says, I have 24 sweets. I ate 1/4 of them, so now I have 20 left. Is she correct? Yes or no? And explain why. B, I had 28 marbles. I lost 1/4 of them, so now I have 21 left. Is he correct? Yes or no? And explain why. C, the mathstronaut is thinking of a number. What could the number be? 1/4 of my number is less than 4. What could their number be? And you need to shade 1/4 of these images below to help you. Pause the video here if you are completing activity number 3. Okay, and the challenge. So the first part of the challenge, Sue says, I have 1/4 of £20, and Chi says, I have 1/2 of £12. Who has the most? Explain your answer. So which one of these children has the most? And you need to say why. The next one, the square is split up into smaller squares. Jess says to show 1/4, she needs to shade 20 small squares. Is she correct? Prove it. So you need to prove it on here. The next question says 1/4 is cut from each ribbon. 1/4 of ribbon A is 6 centimeters. 1/4 of ribbon B is 5 centimeters. How long was each piece of ribbon before being cut? Which ribbon was the longest and by how much longer? And the last one, Cat. My total of 1/4 of 48 is less than 3 times 4. Is Cat correct? Explain your answer. Remember, you need to use the word because here to explain whether or not she is correct. And then you can create your own. So my total of 1/4 of something is more than something times something. Please make sure you upload your work to Tapestry Gandhi class, and I will see you next time. Bye.